Hey, I'm Megan, and this is 10 microeducation apps in 10 days. It's a self-imposed challenge where I build one tiny, functional, shareable app every single day for 10 days straight. I'm using Anything AI for this build. It is one of the newer AI builders. I really like it. It creates pretty unique apps, and I actually recently won a small prize in a weekend hackathon with them. So I wanted to use it for a build in our 10 in 10 challenge. I ran through the prompt. It's processing right now. It's going to produce the initial app. I'm not going to be editing very much in today's video, so a lot of this is just going to be me talking about the process so you can see my thinking process. It's going to be a little bit longer of a video. The video portion actually has been what's consuming a lot of my time in this build. You can see here it generated what I asked for. Pretty good for an initial run. Alright, this is what Anything AI generated. So it's looking pretty decent. I obviously want some more color, eventually maybe some background. It looks like it has our comparison here. I don't know how I feel about the underlines. I see what it's going for because these are the fields that change. So we have coffees, we could do Costco pizzas. Okay, I see it's filling that in. Stanley water bottles, school lunch burritos, avocados. Okay, I'm going to do some changes to the text, but let's see what happens when we type something in. Let's say a trip to Hawaii. Okay, so it fills that text in there, which I like. The underline goes away. I think I would prefer different colors, I think. Or we have one text on one side, one text on the other. Because I can see it saying how many at the top, and then we have the comparison choice on the left, the word is in the middle, and then the other, the text the person's typing in on the right. And then I am thinking, all right, so I made some changes. I have the drop-down menu word appear in blue now. This is, I think it's in dark mode. I think Anything AI automatically did a light and dark mode for me. There's no toggle, but I also don't really care. They both look about the same, black and white, which I think is fine. Here I have green for what the person types in. So let's do our trip to Hawaii again, and that goes in green. I like that a lot more than having the underlined text. I also had it change the button, so when I change to a different item, it changes what the button says, which I think is a nice little touch. You know, today's an easy build. I wanted to do a build where we were just prompting in an AI builder. Anything AI is a really great builder. It is one of the newer ones, and it seems to do a better job than most of the other ones in generating something good looking in very few prompts. I think it has a unique style to building compared to the rest of the builders. It does often do this type of formatting where the screen is very narrow, and I think it's setting it up so that it is a easier, it's more easier to do as a responsive app, so that it looks just as good in mobile. But I think sometimes it tends to cater towards a mobile view. So when I have it on mobile, like this looks great. I like the spacing of that. Fits really well, is really clear and easy to see. So now that I set this up, my next step is going to be to build out the automation that is going to take the entries here, and once you click submit, it needs to send the information that the user selected and typed in, and it needs to do some research, which I will do through an agent with a tool in N8N, and then it needs to send back through the webhook the results that it gets, and then display that answer on the screen. So I'm going to go do that now. All right, so this actually ended up being more complicated than it needed to be. I tried to create the webhook in N8N. I was having trouble with it. I think the reason is that I'm just better at make than I am at N8N. So I think it was user error. I'm sure it could be done just as easily through N8N, but I could not get the response to webhook to send back the correct JSON to have this work properly. But as you can see, it's a very simple, like it's 3 nodes in make. So I just went to make, did it through make. So basically I set up a custom webhook here. The webhook URL, I gave it to anything AI so that it knows to send the information that the user inputs to this webhook. Then I used a ChatGPT and OpenAI node. I can show you. I tried to use O4 Mini because this is a fairly simple task. I have the role set as user, and I have it with this context. So you're a helpful pricing calculator bot. The user wants to know how many compare item fit into the cost of priced item. So priced item is something that I have the app from anything AI send over to this webhook. And so I grabbed that. You can see it flashing right now. I grabbed that from the webhook result, and then compare item also came through in the webhook. So I have it estimate the average price of each item. This is back from when I was trying to do it in N8N, but I tell it to use the SERP API tool. So it's doing a search. It should be fine to do it this way. Then I have it use a calculator tool to divide the price item by comparison item to get the number of units. Again, this is actually from the prompt in N8N where I had attached a calculator tool, but OpenAI can understand that it wants me to calculate it. Round the number to 1 decimal place, and then return only a JSON response. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, so I want it to give a response in this format. So tell me, what the response was that you received. And we're sending it back over to the app through the webhook as a response. So we want it formatted this way, and just click save. So this then does the bulk of the work, and then I have it send back just that result to the original webhook. And I got this to work the first time I set it up. So I was like, clearly, I'm just better at using make, because I struggled with N8N for at least an hour trying to get it to work. But now, if we go to the app, it can now do the calculation correctly. All right, we have a working app, finally. So we can now go in and we can select what we want to compare. So let's choose Costco pizzas, and let's select what we want to compare it to. A trip to Greece. And we can click the button. It should calculate, send to our webhook. And once it processes that information, it should send back to us what the result is. There we go. That's about 301.5 Costco pizzas. Great.